from the get-go is going to be seen as, wow, you guys suck, or oh, you're trying to imitate or whatever. It's really weird. It's a really weird state of mind. Most of the students that came into my school said like, oh, I want to make anime. I'm like, okay, so you want to make anime? Perfect.
Okay.
Do you like American anime? Like, no, I like anime from Japan. Well, if you make anime, it's going to be Panamanian anime. How do you think that's going to be received? Like, oh. So there was a lot of deprogramming you have to do, and it has been happening ever since I opened the school in 2008, and even before. Is, as I said, like, not many people study this career and take it seriously. I was one of the first guys who did it in 2002. I went to Vancouver and I did all that, and everybody was looking at me funny, like, "What are you doing? You're gonna stay in Canada, right? You're gonna stay in Canada." Because most of the people do. Like, I have this friend, Luis Medrano. He lives in New York, and he has won Emmys and everything. And I mean, he did exactly what I did, but he stayed in the U.S. I got married. I came back to Panama, and I mean, I had a very prolific career in commercials, but it was mostly like animating piss, falling on a diaper, or tuna cans dancing. It's good money, but it's not really creative.
Tuna cans.
Yeah.
That's fun though.
Yeah, it's not really creative, and you're sending messages because you don't really believe in the products you're selling. Like, yeah, pomade for your hair. I'm bald, so, and I'm just like, it's money, So
I get it, right?
mm-hmm.
Thanks.
So yeah, dude. But so CG is a breath of fresh air for me. Like, a lot of people are already telling me, like, but you don't have to say you're CG.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if I do? Nothing. Am I gonna be canceled? Canceled for what? Doing another diaper? I don't know.
So,
what's that?
I was going to ask. So, who are some of the kind of Panamanian artists? Who are like the big people that you grew up looking up to? Even not necessarily animation, but just in general.
In art, well, there's a lot of painters. There's a lot of painters, and but like comic book artists or animators or TV production per se, it's an oddity because nobody does that. I remember there was this like variety show that had sort of an animation intro, and the guy who did it worked in advertisement. I met him, Eduardo Verdurman, and I ended up working with him, and then ended up fighting with him. So no, I have no heroes.
Oh no!
I have no heroes down there.
Dang.
Yeah, I mostly looked up to Disney animators from the cool era. Glenn Keane. It's like my reference. I think I have the Tarzan book here, or maybe it's at my brother's.
Right on.
Yeah, but no, I have like the 9 old men. Oh, give me a second.
Sure.
Okay, books. I have this over here.
Woo.
The Illusion of Life. From
Cool.
Disney. It's the story of how Disney grabbed what Winsor McKay did. Because, I mean, Disney didn't invent animation. He just perfected it. And the 9 guys who actually made the work, which is in this book. The 9 old men from Disney.
Very cool.
So that's one of the things like we were talking about, like how anime and manga is kicking everybody's ass. Animation-wise, it's even sadder because animation is the only completely American art form. It was all made in America. Europe just followed what you guys did. Is ever since Edison came up with the Nickelodeon, like you put a nickel and you look through a visor,
right.
you started getting like animation. I mean, prior to that, you have like parlor tricks, like the phenaketoscope, that disc with 2 strings that you like twirl, and there's like a bird and a cage.
Yeah, I think so. Is it like it plays on like the shadows, like animating that way? Okay.
That's called a phenaketoscope. And you get like the zoetrope and whatnot, but they were all like toys, but they were using the principle of the persistence of vision. If you show imaging sequences played at a frame rate at an equal velocity, you get the illusion of movement. So I mean, Edison, when he did the Nickelodeon, you start to see like animation right away. Winsor McKay started doing like his whole like Life of the Mosquito and uh, what was the first? Oh, Dirty the Dinosaur. And then in France, the Lumiere came up with the cinematograph, like the projection thing. And in vaudevilles, like Winsor McKay will take like his Gertie the dinosaur and scare the shit out of people because nobody has seen the dinosaur. They've seen drawings, but they've never seen drawings in movement. So when the dinosaurs start, they'll be like, ah, and run out. Like that happened a lot. Like
Wow.
the Lumieres they filmed a train coming through the screen, and people ran out of the theater because they thought they were gonna get run over. It's just things are not.
Dude, just seeing, I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of somebody seeing animation for the first time.
Yeah.
It would totally blow your mind. You've never seen anything like it before.
Yeah. And the things like Winsor McKay was a freak is he had two things: photographic memory, and he could register drawings from one to another on the same page. Like in animation, you need like a registry, which is like a hole punch that gives you like square, round, square peg. So you punch all your papers and then you register your drawings one to another. Winsor McKay didn't need that. That's why he animated on his own. It was like, dude, this guy is a wizard, you know. But I mean, the Fleischers and Walt Disney came up with like techniques to make animation viable and basically production ready. But yeah, dude, like, oh, watching Popeye, watching Betty Boop, watching even like Merry Melodies and Silly Symphonies, all that is lost now. We have now is Naruto, and which is not bad. Like people always think I'm bashing anime. I'm not. I'm just saying voices are not being heard because I don't know what they're trying to do in the West.
You make a good point, though. Some of my favorite stuff. I spent a lot of time with my grandma growing up, and because of that, Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, that type of stuff. That I've had these thoughts myself. Like you won't. It's just gone, really. That era. Even the new stuff. HBO put out some new Tom and Jerry, and it's like I think it's computer generated stuff. It definitely doesn't have the same. That Boomerang, you got Boomerang if you want to watch that stuff.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like it all ended in '59. Because I mean, I'm kind of an animation historian because I had to teach animation for a while. But it ended up in '59 because before '59 there was a thing called block booking. So if you went to Universal, if you went to Fox or to any of the studios, you had to buy their product in blocks. So you want my movies, you have to buy my newsreels, you have to buy my animation shorts, you have to buy everything in a block. That was declared illegal in '59. And when that was declared illegal, the budgets for everything that wasn't movies just went out the window. And guys who had like units of 7 people doing 3 shorts a year, doing just the most excellent animation ever. You got Chris Frilling and his team. You have Chuck Jones and his team. You had all the Warner directors. Those guys were insane. Those guys were on the streets. What do we do now? And then Hanna-Barbera, and William Hanna and Joseph Barbera, who just got into the fold of like this system of animation, like, oh, this is our time. And they actually directed a lot of Tom and Jerry episodes, were done by William Hanna and Joseph Barbera. They're on the streets after like 4 years of being in the fold. Like, what do we do now? And they come up with limited animation. And limited animation allowed TV to afford to do animation now, and that's where you get like the Flintstones and Magilla Gorilla and Huckleberry Hound.
See,
and anime grabs from limited animation, and they start their journey from limited animation. That's why when people think anime is superior, like you don't really know what you're talking about, but cool.
I see.
Yeah,
interesting.
It's it's something that has to be taken into consideration. I'm saying like Kimetsu no Yaiba, for example. I think it's called Demon Slayer. Those guys know where to put the money in which scenes. Because there are scenes that are like beautiful animated, but there are like short action sequences, and then like the dialogue thing is just a mouth moving. But it works. They know how to do it properly.
Right.
And I mean, they already like doing slave labor. Like a lot of people are talking about, oh, we have to copy manga. You don't know what you're talking about. The turnout for manga, it's like weekly. You have teams of 6 people working on one book. It's cutthroat. It's cutthroat,
Yeah.
and the creators keep the money, but the creators have 6 guys that are living on rice wages. So I don't know if
Damn.
we wanna copy that.
No, and especially with the video game crunch thing. I don't know if you remember that. Like,
Yeah.
it's basically that, but full time. Like
Mhm.
there's no breaks in between, I'd imagine.
Yeah, dude, it's horrible. Like I'm actually making a video game. It's coming out in December, but it's been like 3 years in the making because we have no budget. So we've just been working. Like the animation is finished. I just have to do backgrounds for 4 more worlds. So it's already on Greybox. So,
Cool.
but that's the thing. Like I want to make, since Latin America is so obscure in animation and comic books and in video games. Like how many Latin American games have you played?
None that I could think of.
Exactly, and there's a lot of people with talent, a lot of people with great ideas, but what we lack is the infrastructure.
Mhm.
And right now, I don't want to say like the U.S. is losing their infrastructure, but their infrastructure it's been involved in things that have nothing to do with entertainment, and that's a danger, but it's an opportunity too.
Mhm.
So what I want to do is something that's culturally, like, it's unequivocally Panamanian. Like whenever you see the game, it's like, okay, this is Latino, but I'm not preaching anything.
Right.
I'm just like, oh, or being oppressed. Shut up. Whoever wins the election, you have to go to the supermarket and buy your food. It's
Right.
just stupid.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, let me see if I think I can show some of that. Let me see if I can find something.
Yeah, when you say like specifically Panamanian or Latin, I sort of think of like how French comic books are really
Mm-hmm.
strange but in a good way. It's like
Yeah.
you know what you're looking at right away.
Mm-hmm.
So would that be, is there kind of a certain art style you're trying to capture and sort of formulate as the Panamanian vibe, I guess? Do you have anything in mind?
No, the thing is that it's more the themes more
Mhm.
so. Is I mean, I do have a hybrid like comic booky animated style, which is mine. Like I
Mhm.
haven't seen, and I'm not like tooting my own horn.
Toot toot. Oh, but
I'm
go
not. I'm
ahead,
not.
bro.
Yeah, I'm not tooting my own horn here, but I haven't seen anyone who's drawing like me, which kind of made me nervous. Because as I see like American comics, like, okay, I'm not really drawing like that. It kind of takes from that, but there's something else, and I think it's just because I'm damaged goods, because I've been an animator for so long, and now I'm making the transition. I've just been contaminated by both fields, and this came out, so I can direct people to draw like me. I mean, if I ever get the budget to make a series, but I can adapt to draw like somebody else. That's one of the
I
advantages of being
see.
an animator.
I see. Right. Because you have to mimic somebody else's style so the whole
Hmm.
thing looks consistent.
Yeah,
That's cool. That's actually quite a skill set, really.
yeah, but it does affect the way you draw.
Hmm.
For example, this is just like a test for the range of the characters,
Nice.
and this is what we call in Panama a cholo. So these guys are they going to be playing in a game that looks a lot like Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. No,
Yeah, yeah, I'm getting some lag on my end here.
okay. Am I
Ah,
roboting?
I see.
And so these guys are gonna
It was. It's
be
better now. I caught the Turtles in Time part.
okay. So it's gonna be like Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, and these guys are gonna be fighting basically mutant sugarcane.
All right,
So
dude. Great angles. Really dynamic.
yeah, I have this idea like a couple of years back, and well, let me just see. We're doing like the promo material, just but it's a
All right.
thematically, it's very very Panamanian. So the machete is the tool of choice when you work the fields here. So that's why it's
Right.
called by machete law. It's the name
Okay.
of the game.
By Machete Law.
Yeah.
I like it.
So
So is this on mobile, or are you? What are you going to do with this? This looks like a fun game.
yeah, we already have a contract with Sony, so it's gonna be on the Play Store, and
Sweet.
that will give them exclusivity for a couple of years, and then we'll go for mobile. But yeah, it's I don't want to say like it's a game changer, but I've been trying to make a video game for so many years. It's just and the thing, the animation is done. Like everything, I have all the enemies. Let's see.
It looks great. Like that animation was fluid, and I can actually see that that's of quality to be on the Sony store. It looks like like the animation looks good. The actual art doesn't look like kind of like nothing against like Steam type games or anything.
Yeah,
It looks like a real game.
yeah. The thing is like the programmers were like actually trying to push me towards doing like 8-bit animation and whatnot, and I said like, okay, wouldn't make it any different from any other 8-bit game.
Mhm.
So just take advantage that I can do these things I can do, and let's just make a game that looks completely different. So that's what we're striving for. And
Ah,
and with that in my book, so yeah, I've been busy.
bro, you've been
But
hustling, man.
yeah, you gotta. Yeah, but let's talk more about your book, man. I really
Sure.
enjoyed the concept. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's basically the setup is the game master or the dungeon master.
Mm-hmm.
He captures the team, and it's like a setup between Dungeons and Dragons, superheroes, and Saw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Nice.
it basically all the type of things that I love:
Mm-hmm.
horror, fantasy, and superheroes. So
It takes the Dungeons and Dragons series and this turns it on its head, man. Like I really like the thing because really enjoy the Dungeons and Dragons series. Like I watched the series before I played the game. I'm not like an avid player. Like I do play D&D, but who's
right,
got the time nowadays?
yeah.
Uh, and but yeah, dude, like I really appreciate like the whole flavor with the die and the voiceover for the game master is like, dude, that made it for me. It's
Yeah,
really, really, really cool.
I forget his name, which makes me a horrible person, but he really did a great job. Like that was the second or third take, but he was really good at communicating what I was asking. Like when
Hmm.
I was telling him what I wanted, he means, "Oh, you want this," and that is actually what I wanted. Like the phrase he said in particular was like, "Oh, you want me to spit their names out of my mouth?" I'm like, "Yes, that's it exactly."
Yeah. Wow. Wow, dude. And that's really that's the thing I'm talking about clicks. I mean, you don't remember his name now, but if ever spells and superheroes become like an animated something, you got the voice of the game master there. Like I was speaking with Fraga. Like I know that's like, oh, I'm throwing names, but I mean
Mhm,
Fraga really got me into CG. Like he was the first guy. Like I watched Ethan, but
mhm.
I don't know. Like I don't like complaining that much, and this is I'm not bashing Ethan.
Oh yeah,
It's just what catches my interest. So listening to people bitch about Star Wars gets old really fast with me. You know,
yeah.
so So when streams get like that, I go like, okay, okay, they better bring in the jokes. 'Cause I'm not being entertained. With Frag, it's different. It's just like, oh, do and be your best. Hey, let's get better in drawing, you know. So it's a little bit more positive, and I enjoy that. I enjoy that better. So the first time I
Yeah.
went into a stream was with Fraga, and we were discussing at some point like how could we make animation viable in a CG environment,
Mhm.
and everybody's talking about putting things behind a paywall, which it's fine. It's a way like doing Patreon and whatnot. But I'm thinking like Ethan is doing what he's doing with toys.
Mhm.
If by every freak of nature I get to do the same thing with my stories, I'm doing what he's doing with toys with animation. Because you know, animation has a different scope, and animation makes money with merchandising. But you need the budget to animate. And I don't know. Do you know this guy's? I don't know. I'm forgetting the name. Oh, Critical Role.
Critical Role.
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah,
I think I've heard the name.
yeah. Those guys are
Critical
like,
Role.
yeah, those guys are like voice actors, and they
Yes, they have a YouTube channel. They're like
mhm.
big D&D guys. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. They hold it like the D&D stuff.
Yeah.
They did like an animated intro for their show, and from that animated intro, they did a Kickstarter and like they pick up like $7 million to make a. I mean, they needed like $500 to do it, and that's a normal budget for an animated show.
Hmm.
And but they picked up 7 million. So getting the critical mass to do something like that, I
Mhm.
mean, it takes time, but it can be done. And the thing is, like, the merchandising will pay for the budget. But I mean, they already have 7 million. They don't even need to do merchandising because you need $500 to do a show. Everything else is just icing. It's
Right.
a lot of icing on a cake. But that's what I think is like we as creators have really have to work to get our IPs out there beyond comic books. I mean, keep our comic book consumers happy, and they're the customers and they're our base. But once we get out, so Ethan is romancing the toy crowd, which is
Mhm.
huge.
Yeah.
But who's romancing the tabletop games crowd? For example, like if I'm Robert Geronimo, I would be thinking about making a Blood Realm tabletop game right away. You
Dude.
know what I mean? So that's the kind of strategies we have to be thinking about midterm, long term. Right now, let's focus on make great stories, make great comics, and everybody's doing a great job, dude. I'm super impressed, super scared because the bar is really high. Like, oh, I'm,
Yeah.
and yeah, you have to bring your A game here, but that's a good thing. But going beyond comics, and I'm not saying like Netflix because Netflix is a trap. The moment you get a producer on top of you is the moment you're gonna go like, okay, let's make it more inclusive.
No,
Can
yeah.
can we make the dwarves Asian? It's like you know nothing against Asian dwarves, but it's just like it's not pertinent to the story. If it's not pertinent to the story, why bother?
Right.
And I was just
Yeah, I've had the thought myself if I was ever approached for any of my stuff,
mm-hmm.
it's it's a hard sell. One, I wouldn't want to have anything to do with it because I know right off the bat I'm not going to get to control it the way I want, and that's
Mm-hmm.
partially why I'm creating things anyways, so I can do
Yeah.
it the way I want. And then two, just like you said, like if anything were to happen in today's world, it's going to be they're going to take what I love and I created and string it up and put a different skin on it and use it for their propaganda. That
Yeah,
makes me
exactly.
look bad, really, because
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it's still my name attached to the thing.
Obviously, obviously, because
Yeah,
good or bad, it's your name.
yeah,
And
like
I don't know, man.
that Jupiter's Legacy. I
Oof.
wanted to like it. I
Yeah.
wanted to like it because I like Wanted. I've never read
Mm-hmm.
any of Mark Millar's comics. I didn't even know Wanted was a book, but
I
that's
have.
just
I have. I read one and the great book. I mean,
I
Mark
really enjoyed the
Millar.
movie.
Yeah, Mark Millar. It's a genius, but
Hmm.
the thing is, like, your genius was gonna be clouded by producers, by writers. Because I mean,
Yes.
Jupiter's Legacy. Every episode has a different writer, and those guys are gonna inject themselves because that's their job. You know what I
It
mean?
fell
So,
apart at episode 4 for me, dude.
yeah.
That was the like the daughter episode where she was like,
Hmm.
it starts at her at the club, and I'm like, never mind all of the sort of political the yada yada. This is just
Hmm.
a story that I've seen this tale, like a girl acting this way because she's mad at her dad, and you know,
Hmm.
this smooth talking dude like walks up to her at the club, and like it was all very like baby's first story.
Yeah.
And that alone threw it out for me. I was like, the only
Hmm.
stuff that was interesting was like the past stuff where you're like
Yeah.
seeing how they ended up the way they ended up. To me, that was the best part.
Yeah. The thing with Jupiter's Legacy is that the backstory is so strong. It made the linear story within made it weak. Made it
Yeah.
like, okay, whatever. Yeah, sure. Like, I'm not expecting anything from Sandman either. It's just that I read Sandman back in the day, and I thought this is a good book to get a lady into comic books,
Mm.
or get like a geek girl. Like, oh
Right.
my god, he's so interesting. Yeah, I'm reading Sandman, baby. You
Right.
know,
I'm so dark as I
I'm
read it
so
by
dark. Yeah,
candlelight.
yeah, exactly. It's just like, or, I mean,
I
I,
get it.
I have no qualms. Like, I use Sandman and I use Bone for that because they're like different books. Like, they go like, oh my god, that's not superheroes. Yeah, it's not superheroes, baby. We can be
I'm
intellectual
deep.
too. Yeah.
Right.
So yes,
Yeah.
that was so dumb. And
As long as it worked, that's all that matters, though,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. Most of the time, all the
Right.
time. Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
it's the animation style. It's been interesting. I think you made a really good point earlier
Hmm.
about how the Japanese, like I was getting into original Gundam,
Mm.
and that series is actually super old, if I'm not mistaken. It
Yeah, it
started
is.
in like 70s.
79.
That animation, I mean, it looks anime, but when you think about it coming from the perspective of the Hanna-Barbera stuff, like Alex
Mm-hmm.
Toth or Toth, like
Both, yeah.
this dude, he was a really great just artist. I mean, they all were, but you could
Yeah.
really see sort of the pull of, you know,
They all
that.
wanted they all wanted to be Kirby. That's the thing.
Right.
I like Toad and all those guys, they wanted to be Kirby so bad. And you see it like Herculoids and
Mm,
Space Ghost. They were reading comics. It's like, how can we make this kind of action comics
mm.
into animation? And the first attempt to do that was Johnny Quest. I don't know if you remember.
Oh yeah, great
Yeah,
show.
yeah, great show. But Johnny Quest was a lot of scenes in Johnny Quest are just stills because they didn't know how to handle the characters because those characters were not designed for animation. So the hatching, like the line quality, everything was like, okay, if we move it like we should in animation, like lines are gonna start to shake.
Interesting.
So getting to do that, and anime did that too. If you see like Gundam, like the first, and then you see Gundam Thunderbolt, like the evolution
Hmm.
of the art form. If you go only through mecha anime, you see how those guys says like, okay, this is how we can do complex designs and move them. They're not the best expression of animation, but they're really well done.
Hmm.
And that's one of the things that people are like, well, but anime is amazing. You know, it's really complex designs, and they're trying to move them. Like if you go frame by frame and watch like the the macros of plane transforming, you'll puke. It's horrible, but it
Really?
works. It works in the setting. In the setting that's why like watching animation with me it's a nightmare because I'm always gonna be like, oh, ah, and it's not me being a snob. It's just that I see the pain
Mm.
of the animators. Like, hey, this has to be done by Friday, and that shows. You know, so I don't know, man. I'm just very disillusioned with everything.
So is there any animation, any shows that you're into today? Anything you're watching?
New
That
shows, I've
yeah,
tried.
new shows.
The last show I really enjoyed. I mean, no, I really liked Gendy Tartakovsky's Primal.
Right.
That was very cool. That was very cool. But he was jumping steps. His Primal is not ink. It's just pure like pencil lines, or maybe he went for that aesthetic. But you see like the pores on the lines on the line art. You see the pores of pencil,
Hmm.
and
Right.
that's a decision. Like I really enjoyed that actually. And but to me, like the pinnacle of Jenny Tartakovsky is what he did after he did the Clone Wars.
Right.
Because I mean, he went from Dexter's Lab to Samurai
Hmm.
Jack. Then he did like the animated shorts for Clone Wars, which to me were superb, and I like that better than even the CG show.
Me too. Yeah.
And then he did a series called Symbiotic Titan, and everything in that show was perfect. But on one episode, there was a little bit of over sexualization of the characters, and that really like threw people off.
What show was it?
Symbiotic Titan,
Symbiotic Titan. I've never heard of it.
dude, it was one season, and since Cartoon Network was all about this is not Ben 10, they didn't renew for the second season because they said like, oh, we can't make a toy out of this because the robot was translucent, like you can see the inside of the robot. Like, dude, it's beautiful to behold. Really well
Interesting.
done. The story's kind of dark because it's like a princess, a bodyguard, and a robot from fallen kingdom come to Earth, and they're escaping from the guys who destroyed the kingdom, and they're like in an American high school. So it's it's like kind of like that kind of show aimed at teenagers, but I
Right.
enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot, and it has like kaiju's. I mean, it's really really cool.
Yeah, he's a Gennady Tartakovsky, dude.
Hmm.
He is a amazingly well-rounded writer. I mean, I know he's
Yeah.
a fantastic artist, but
Hmm.
Dexter's Lab, one of my favorite shows of all time.
Oh yeah,
And
dude.
yeah, I've been rewatching that actually, and man,
Hmm.
it's you just the writing on it is so surprising. How much it makes me laugh as an adult,
Hmm.
just seeing it come out of another adult. I'm like, you're a fucking genius, man. This
Yeah,
is
dude.
great.
No, Powerpuff Girls.
Right.
Powerpuff Girls had so many levels, and it's like, are you watching Powerpuff Girls? Like, dude, sit down and watch. I
Yeah.
mean, you saw the Powerpuff Girls where the episode is all Beatles songs.
Uh,
Oh,
it's been a while since I've watched Powerpuff Girls.
yeah,
I did watch that growing up. It wasn't also a really great show.
yeah, dude. But the thing is, like, all the enemies of the Powerpuff Girls made a band called the Beat Alls, and
Wow.
all the song, all the dialogues were quotes of like Beatles songs. I mean, it was genius.
I'm
Like
still here.
yeah, no, it happens. StreamYard does that. It was genius, man. And in that sense, I don't see that kind of writing. Like I try to see like I've always said this, and it's not popular, but I blame Adventure Time
Mm,
because
yeah.
Adventure Time was trying to make like weird cool, but they jumped over a fence that destroyed everything. Because ever since then, you get like Gumball and Steven Universe, and I just can't
Oh
relate to that. I just can't.
no.
I'm just like, okay, what are you guys trying to do? Like your jokes sound like lectures, and your character design is not that good, and everything is designed to be ugly. So,
Yeah.
click, is change the channel.
Adventure Time to me, I sort of have a love-hate relationship with it. I
Hmm.
think that overall, like I've seen a good bit of the show. It makes me laugh. I
Mm.
like I like the it's a heavy D&D show. It
Yeah.
is really goofy. It is also really preachy, and I think like
Hmm.
Rebecca Sugar was one of the animators on that show,
Yeah.
and she's the creator of Steven Universe.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Cartoon Network has basically been stuck in the echo chamber of
Yeah.
that for like the last 10 years, and it's
Hey,
just been
dude.
allowed to fester, really.
The whole animation industry, it's been festering in that. And I said, I had really good relationships with animators, like peers of mine that started with me, guys who I have worked throughout the years. And I mean, I do stand up, but in Spanish, and I'm pretty outspoken. So everybody knows like how my personality is. Like I really don't believe in any of that stuff. Like I
Right.
do that. You do you. Like stop trying to be a victim. That has like I've been canceled in that regard. Like
Oh, hell.
yeah. So I'm like whatever. I mean, I wasn't really depending on the animation industry that much anyway. Like I did a lot of like storyboard work and character design, mostly for games and whatnot, but I really didn't dive into that because there was so much to do down here, commercial wise.
Mhm.
But with the pandemic, everything ran to a halt, and I discovered CG. So I was like, okay, these are my peeps. You
Yeah.
know, like you can be yourself here. So it's like, dude, I don't know.
So what's the climate like in your neck of the woods? You said you were canceled. Are you seeing like a lot of the type of nonsense we're seeing here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And also, there's a little bit of ageism in advertising and video editing and whatnot, because clients and studio owners are always looking for the new thing, like the new
Right.
hotshot, and I mean I've seen it like I've seen like animated commercials that are really well done by kids, but some other things is just flash and basically shit. But you can't say anything. And then when they call me or to fix fucked up animation, which is something I don't do. It's like, dude, you wanted to pay cheap. Now talk to the guy that did this to you. Like I have to decipher what he did and then find a way to fix it. It's like triple work.
Right.
And you already gave the bulk of the budget to the guy who fucked it up. Like this is no business for me. So I try to explain that to clients, and they don't really like it, or they're just call me to get a quote from me and go with a cheaper guy. So that's what's have been
Damn.
happening for the ever since, even before the pandemic, because I'm already 47, so I've been around. I've got great relationships, but I've burned some bridges. So now I have this fame about me that I'm difficult, which is not true. I mean, we work together, and
Yeah. I
yeah,
wouldn't say so at all. They were
yeah,
nothing but awesome.
yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I really and that's one of the things I love about this community is it shows you like you don't stay in a place where they hate you.
Right.
And I was like, so why can't like no, but like me, guys, I'm really cool. Like, damn, go fuck yourself. Do what you need to do.
Right.
So
Yeah.
here's what we are. And I'm loving
Yeah.
it.
I completely agree, though.
Mhm.
I've thought about working, just of course, pretty much
Oh, you froze.
one
You're
of the
frozen,
main
buddy.
industries or big two. I don't think I'd
Yeah.
survive. Oh, I'm frozen.
No, no,
Is
yeah,
this
yeah, you're
better?
back. You're back. You're back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I've thought about working at one of the big industry, like one of the
Mm-hmm.
big two, but or even just a writer in other spots. But
Mm-hmm.
honestly, it would at this point in the game, it really would just be like I would probably also be called difficult because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the
Yeah.
type of person to bend over and sort of take probably any type of like this corporate religion where being pushed
Mm-hmm.
on us. I can't do it. It's
Yeah,
so
dude.
difficult. So that
I
would
mean,
make me difficult to work
mhm.
with, I'm sure.
Yeah, dude. I have a hard time going to company picnics. I'm gonna go like join a
Yeah,
join a group like,
I'm the
everybody
same
comes
way,
with
man.
this. Everybody come with this color shirt on next Tuesday. Nah, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I'm
I
sort of
used
the
to work
same.
for a TV station down here, Like we still have like uh, I don't know how you call it. It's not cable, like local TV stations.
Hmm.
So when I
Public
close, yeah,
access.
public access. No, but no, they're private companies. They're private companies, but
Damn.
they're like local.
Hmm.
And the thing is, like, I used to run an animation school from 2008 to 2014. Then I divorced and my life changed, so I had to go look for a job. And I started working at this TV station. And
Hmm.
even there, you could start to see like a Criollo Latin American version of wokeism. It's not all woke. 'Cause, I mean, Latin America is very, very macho. You know what I mean? Like it's, and even in the attitude of women, you can see it. But still, it's like women, yes, we can. It's like, okay, and I get like producers put on top of me that they don't know how to ask for animation, how to ask for changes, how to understand that what they're asking for adds time to production.
Hmm.
And dude, I was making producers cry.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's not because I like raised my voice or whatnot. I'm just saying, like, dude, what you're doing is physically impossible.
Mm.
And I know your knee jerk reaction is say blame me. And as I said, I mean, you can try it.
Right.
You can try blaming me, but your boss knows exactly what it is that you're asking for, and he knows it's impossible. And you can get me fired. Whoever you get sitting down here is going to be the same problem. There's no need to cry. And then I get the memo like, hey, why would you so like rude? I wasn't being rude, maybe blunt, but not
Right.
rude. You know, like
I get it.
yeah. So that's the thing. Like now I'm working on my own, and it's a lot better, man. A lot better.
I definitely could see there being, just depending on how much work you could get out, more of an opportunity, for
Hmm.
yourself to take in more money and put more work out quicker. I mean,
Yeah,
there's more benefits, I think, in that regard.
yeah, dude. Yeah, but it's a matter of it wasn't a problem that my bosses were women. It was just the circumstance. It's just the fact that they didn't have the knowledge to be a boss.
Right.
If they had the knowledge, I wouldn't have a problem. They would say like, "Hey, Pedro, we need this 2 minute piece. You have 3 weeks to do it. Perfect."
Hmm.
But they don't go like 2 days before the deadline and say like, "Hey, can we change scene 8, 12, 15, and 19? And let's do this change on the character design." Like, dude, once you're
Hmm.
animating, you don't do changes to character design because that means everything that's been done, you're back to zero.
Right.
So it was that kind of stuff that really just got me like, yeah, it was weird. Like when I resigned that from that TV station, I gained years back of my life. Yeah, because I mean, my sideburns are white, and that was because of that.
Dude, I get it. It sometimes it really doesn't matter. Like, that's sort of what I think is probably going on with like DC and Marvel. You've got people that are
Yeah.
there that are just
Hmm.
there. They don't want to go, but I mean, after so long, you really can only take so much before it does turn your hair gray. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
it's
I
not
mean, the
worth
thing
it
is,
at that point.
it's token. Like they're there as tokens, and they know nothing about editing. They know nothing about storytelling. They don't respect the characters, which to me is the worst sin. I mean, if you don't like Captain America because you're a communist, you have no
Dude,
right to be writing Captain America. And I don't know. I don't think that's controversial. Just
no,
do an Omega Red comic. I mean, there are communist characters in Marvel,
right?
but don't destroy the legacy. I mean, when Captain America said Hail Hydra,
Yeah.
I was already out of Marvel and DC by that time because I mean I tasted it in the water. I smelled it in the air, like in Lord of the Rings. Like, dude, this is going somewhere I don't really like. But when I say like Hail Hydra, dude, Panama was invaded by the U.S. in '89.
Wow.
I'm supposed to hate America, but I don't. And you know why? Because the guy who was responsible for this invasion was George Bush Sr. if you know your history. Like he basically got rid of Noriega after no, got rid of Torrijos after Torrijos basically made the treaty to get the canal back to Panama. They needed to be rid of Torrijos, and they put Noriega. Noriega was an intricate part of the Iran-Contras thing with Oliver North and the money. It was all CIA.
Right.
So when Noriega said, like, okay, I'm full drug lord, that's all at the feet of George Bush Sr., not America.
Damn.
You know what I mean? And the thing is, like, why would I go to Albuquerque or whatever? And so like, you guys invaded my country. Like, dude, you guys didn't even know that. You know what I mean? It's just politics. And I mean, the relationship of the U.S. with Latin America has been murky because there's been a lot of interest. Like the whole banana republic definition came from a period from 1820 something to the early 20th century, because United Fruit Company from Boston basically started buying land in Nicaragua, Honduras, and El Salvador, and they basically owned more land than anybody. So they made like their own fiefdom, and they control the governments. But again, it's a company, it's a group of guys. America's not to blame.
Right.
You know, so making that distinction it's kind of hard for people. But,
it is. It's lost too. Like that. And I think it's sort of on purpose. A lot of people aren't really being trying to be reasonable. It's not that's long out the window at this point, really.
Yeah, and the things like, having said that I'm supposed to be like, fuck America. I'm not.
Right.
When I saw Captain America say "Hail Hydra," my heart was broken. How would a full-blooded American that loved his country, after seeing that, how he must have felt? You know, that's what I mean, because we don't have like Captain Mexico or like Captain Panama. I mean, there's an X-Men that's supposed to be Panamanian called La Bandera, and yeah, has the worst mutant power ever.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, whenever La Bandera holds a flag, she inspires everybody around her. That's her mutant power.
She holds the flag and inspires everybody.
Yeah. That's
It's not it's an interesting power set, but it's not a good power. It's like a good secondary thing, but you don't need a power for that because Captain America can pick up the flag.
Yeah, exactly.
Do that automatically.
And how you
power?
And how you neutralize La Bandera? Hey, who's holding the flag? Shooter. You know, just that's about it. Like, I don't know. That was cute.
Did she have like defense? Like, was she super tough or anything, or just that
nothing?
That's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, like, that's the thing. Like, Panama's a very small country, man. That's why we need to come up with our own stories. But I mean, comic book readers in Panama. I mean, we're a nation of 4 million. How many? Like, we're not really a market. We have to project outwards. And you know, and there's another misconception that people who are not from here, they think we are all like friends. No, Latin American countries hate each other.
I've heard a little bit. It's kind of cutthroat out there.
Yeah, it's just I mean it's not coming up to blood, but there's no love lost between Panama and Costa Rica or Costa Rica and Honduras. Like, we are all our own thing. And the thing with Panama, since we have influence from the U.S., the Caribbean, Central America, South America, we don't really feel as part of anyone. And the rest of the countries resent that. It's like, who do you think you are? Just because you have the canal. It's like,
interesting.
Yeah.
How long has Panama been around as a country?
1903. 1903, we separated from La Gran Colombia, which was one of the many failed attempts to unify the region in one single country. Because first you have Nueva Granada, which was Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, parts of Peru. They're trying to make one country. That when Bolivar, like or George Washington, tried to liberate the country.
Right on.
Sponsored by Haiti, I might say. Haiti was the first country in the Americas to be free even before the U.S. But nobody wants to say that because they practice voodoo. And but sponsored by Haiti, Bolivar like destroyed the Spaniards. I mean, Spain was already on the way out because they were a really decadent uh, empire by that time. So it wasn't really that hard. But Panama became part of Colombia, and we were completely neglected, like any department in Colombia. I mean, if a Colombian listened to me talking like this, he would agree with me because Colombia is a very central country. If you go to Bogota, like, which is the capital of Colombia, it's very modern. It's really cool, kind of dangerous, but really cool.
Yeah.
But you see the rest of the country, you compare it to Bogota, and it's like, wow, all the money's in Bogota. And when Panama was part of the Gran Colombia, that was just the case. We didn't have hospitals, we didn't have roads, we didn't have anything.
Wow.
Then we became like a federal state, and that's the thing with American interest in the region. Is American interest has always been private. So the first attempt at Panama to be independent was in 1947, when the Aspinwall shipyards tried to make the railroad, because we were in the middle of the American gold rush. So it was really hard and treacherous to cross America by wagon
Right.
to the west coast. So it was easier to go by boat, stop in Panama, use a Spanish road called El Camino de Cruces, and go by donkey, cross Panama, grab a boat in the Pacific, and go to.
Damn.
So the Aspinwall shipyards seeing this, it's like, okay, what if we make a railroad? So sponsored by the Aspinwall shipyards, the city of Colón was born, and the federal state of Panama was born, because they gave them the money and the resources to politically influence Colombia to turn Panama into a federal associated state of Colombia, and not really a department. So we started to have a little bit more autonomy. So when the French came in 1880 something, I was like, we're gonna make the Canal de Panama, and failed. Yeah, they failed horribly because they want to make. I mean, they already made the Suez Canal, but the Suez Canal is a level canal. You can't do that in Panama because there's two mountain ranges that meet at the narrowest part of the country. You have the Tabasara range and the Sapo range. They converge, so you have altitude changes. So you can't really make a level canal. And they failed. And malaria was a big problem.
Oh yeah.
That's when the Americans come in, and they said to Colombia, like, okay, you want to do this to Panama, but you have to sell us to perpetuity the region where we're going to make the canal. Colombia said no. So the U.S. said, okay, if Colombia says no, maybe the independent country of Panama will say yes. There's no such thing. Oh, that's what you think. So, sponsored by the U.S. Navy, Panama became a nation. It was,
all right.
Yeah. So the thing, like, we have a lot. It's been a love-hate relationship ever since its inception. Because, yeah, like, we had the Louisiana laws. Because I mean, you know, when Louisiana was sold by Napoleon to the U.S. government, they had a set of laws for the Cajun population. So they grabbed that statute and they implemented it in Panama too. So the Panama Canal was basically ruled by the Louisiana laws, which were basically Jim Crow. Like there were places where Panamanians couldn't go. You could see signs like "No Negroes, no dogs, no Panamanians," like that kind of stuff. Like,
Thanks.
it's part of history.
Right.
But when the civil rights movement happened in the U.S., it basically permeated what down here. So, I mean, I don't know. I grew up when there were U.S. bases here in Panama, and it was just fun. It was another place to play rock and roll for me. That's what the U.S. bases were for me. Like, I had a band at the time, and it's like, hey, there's the Rodman Navy base festival. We need bands. Hey, we can play. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, drinking hams and Coors. and people yelling "Free Bird." I mean, it was cool. Like I really have personally, I really had no qualms with
Hmm.
Americans. Like on a personal level, they're just being cool to me,
Mhm.
and that's what I take. I mean, some people. I mean, I didn't like cry when you guys left, but some people did.
Damn.
Especially the people who working at the bases. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm out
I
of
mean,
a job.
yeah, that would probably shake up some people's families. I could see that probably being
Yeah, dude.
stressful, but
Yeah, but then again, when you guys invaded to take out Noriega, a lot of people died. So there's people who do resent America, but on that level, like my brother died or my dad died in the invasion. Like my dad was a government official during those times, and he foolishly tried to go to the mayor's office during the invasion, and he had to sleep in a sewer for 3 days.
damn.
I mean, it was open bullets. Like people were dying on the streets, and
Wow.
that's what I tell people. Like, dude, I've been shot at. You think being canceled is gonna do something to me? Whatever, man. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, being canceled, I sort of see it. I mean, it can have an effect on your life, but
Yeah.
only in so much that you let it, I think. Like
Mm-hmm.
if
Indeed.
yeah, if these people ultimately we're talking, I guess, about kind of losing customers or jobs potentially, but if you are the type of person that creates your own thing
Mm-hmm.
anyways,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter all that much. And a lot of those people probably weren't going to be customers anyways.
Yeah.
And
Exactly. Maybe losing
you know,
contacts. Yeah, you're losing contacts. That's
yeah,
about it. But that's the thing. Like, if they want to make it tribal, is that exactly what they're doing? There's no reason why we shouldn't go tribal ourselves. And you see it like Ben Shapiro, for example, he's trying to do entertainment. Tim Pool is trying to make content entertainment. Like, dude, okay,
yep,
those guys are like big names, but what they're doing is not impossible for anyone to do. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Just on a smaller
absolutely.
scale and build up yourself. It's gonna be better in the long run
Mhm.
because it's something you control and it's completely yours, and nobody will come from like a committee to say like, well, I didn't like the color of socks you put on that character. Like, that's not gonna happen.
Right.
So yeah, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I've sort of seen CG like this in a way. Like getting into writing comic books for me was I didn't want to write political stories, and I still
Mm-hmm.
don't really. I
Yeah.
just want to write stuff that's fun and entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
But in a way, even though I'm not writing political stories, I still sort of am participating in a counter idea with
Yeah.
CG.
Mm-hmm.
And in that way, I actually enjoy that aspect of it because I do kind of feel like I'm sticking it to the man a little bit while
Yeah,
also
dude.
not having to write a political story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. The things like right now, not being political is a
Hmm.
statement,
Right.
which is sad in itself. It's like, dude,
Yes.
you don't support me. It's like, why should I support you?
Right.
You know that's what I mean. Because I mean,
Eh,
I was married to a theater actress
mm,
for 10 years, and I don't know if in the U.S., but here in Panama, it means you're surrounded by gay people. 'Cause
Yeah,
gay people love the theater, and they're really
they
good
do.
at it, and they're really good at it.
They are, aren't
And,
they?
and the thing is, like I helped out with like lighting. Because I mean, I took like basic courses of like as an electrician, so I
Mhm.
could like set up like lights for a show and whatnot. And I helped them that way. But in living with them, the acceptance, I had no problems with anyone.
Mhm.
But will I stay at the orgy? That's you know what I mean?
That's a hell of a question.
Yeah, exactly. And I think right now they're demanding that, like, celebrate my gayness. Like, dude, no, just
Yeah,
be gay, be you. But I'm going somewhere else. You know,
right.
Magila Gorilla is on. Like, that's what I like. I don't need to be there, like, going, yay. Like, why?
Yeah, yeah. It's that's really you don't get to not participate. You either have
Mm-hmm.
to co-sign it
Mm-hmm.
or you get threatened or attacked or canceled. I mean, there's no in between really.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the least like successful way to get me to do anything, is to like force me by threats, really. Like,
Yeah, dude.
I'm just an asshole about that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, but that's not being an asshole. It's been like, dude, I want to be genuine with you. You know, you're being genuine with me with your sexual preference. I haven't asked first and foremost. Like
I have a girlfriend.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't really care whether you like it or not, but you announce it. That's cool. Can I be true to you and basically tell you that I don't care? I don't want to stop you. I don't want to stop you, dude. Marry, get divorced. That
sure.
Dude, like I was listening to Bill Burr, like in a gay relationship, like domestic violence isn't like two guys beating each other.
Yeah.
You know, like who wins there? Like who's the victim? But whatever. That's just a joke. But that's the thing. Like I really don't hold the stake, and that should be the end of it. You know, like dude, buy your property, co-sign it. Even hereditary law, because that's a big problem. Like right here, like gay marriage is not legal yet, and there's a thing to say about you have like a gay couple and one of the spouses died, the family will get the house and not the partner, because there's no legal basis for them to, unless they specifically go and say, hey, I'm going to put the house in your name. So that's a precaution that they should take, and yes, I support that. Like, dude, you guys need to, if this is your choice for your life partner, you need to be protected. I understand that completely. But I'm not going to the parade. And I'm not wearing assless chaps.
No. Flinging a dildo around with like a flag attached to it.
Yeah, dressed like a monkey. Like,
yeah,
oh my God.
That is where it sort of loses me as well.
Yeah.
I'm cool with everything up until, honestly, like, I don't even, on its face, I don't really care about a parade. I'm not going. But when we start to and sort of think about it a little bit further, it's like, why do we need a parade? It's like, what's the parade? I mean, I guess I understand the quote unquote celebration, but why is it celebrate? I don't know. It's where it falls
but the thing is
apart,
like, the thing to me is like, dude, you can do it. Do your parade. Just don't get mad at me if I don't go.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying, and that's all I'm asking.
Yes.
Leave me the fuck alone. You know, I just want to sit on my rocking chair with my my shotgun, and tell kids to get off my lawn. That's my happiness. You know, I don't. Damn kids, got it out. You know, that's my happiness. Maybe do a barbecue here and there. But now it's like, oh, you're not vegan, dude. And the thing's like, I've worked with creative people my whole life. And the first thing you hit a wall here in Panama, it's vegan Nazis.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're just going like, oh my God, I'm doing yoga and I'm practicing veganism. I'm like, oh, I'm so happy for you.
You sound like a crazy person when you say you're practicing veganism.
You're
practicing it.
Yeah,
it's so strange. It's like I'm a practicing veganist, basically.
Yeah, it sounds like a cult. And it's fucking scary. It's fucking scary, and I don't know, man. But it's just this need to be. It's not even different. It's a need to feel superior. Because maybe you're leading an empty life, and dude, that's sad. But it's not my fault either.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of people are leading empty lives, and they need to basically step on people's necks to feel better about themselves. And my solution to that is make a comic book, man. Or do something that will occupy your time and you feel fulfilled. Like, dude, even if my book doesn't do a dime, even if, man, I finished it, I'm really proud of it with my cheating colors. Yeah, because people like are complimenting me on my colors, but I'm no wing spots, and I'm no color reader. Like, dude, I apply what I've learned from doing color correcting on video. And applying it to flat colors. So it's layer upon layer of cheat upon cheat upon cheat. And I mean, it looks good, but it's not, I'm no colorist, you know?
Right.
but it's what's working for me.
Yeah, hell yeah. Do you want to share your book a little bit?
Oh,
I think I've seen the cover. You were on Pete's show a while back. I think I caught
yeah,
something on there.
yeah. Let me share a little bit. Right now, well, I'm working on the prologue. Is I'm really basing it off the Hidden Fortress by Kurosawa.
Okay.
So it might get some tones of Star Wars: A New Hope. Because I'm a huge Kurosawa fan,
Sweet.
and I'm really, let me see.
Man.
So it's really futuristic, but if you don't see the flat colors, it's almost like child's painting. I just, just
Dude. Very
but
nice.
this is just applying techniques of color correction,
Man.
and,
You
and it
really
helps
lit
me.
that thing up.
Yeah, it really helps me to work fast. Like I can color in a span of an hour. I can color a page like this.
Hmm.
For example, like
Right on.
yeah, and I'm doing the CMYK conversion in Affinity
Hmm.
because I hate Photoshop and no, I still that I hate Photoshop. I hate Adobe in general.
Yeah, as a company,
Is yeah,
they've always been a pain in the ass.
no, but they weren't so man. Ever since like CS6, Adobe was the shit, man. And I learned editing at an Inferno station. You know what those are?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. So Silicon Graphics, or like the computers you need to have if you were doing anything like CGI or very complex composition.
Mhm.
And those computers would go like for 60K, starting with a smoke. That would
Damn.
be like the cheapest. So you can really have access to any of those computers unless you were working at a professional studio. So I was working at this studio. They had a smoke, so I learned Avid because Avid was the software for those stations. And then when Adobe came about, and you needed Illustrator, Photoshop, Premiere, and After Effects to do what you could do with Avid. So it was software in tandem. But going from 60K plus the software to basically buying the Adobe bundle, which is a couple $100s, dude, it was a revolution. And everybody, it was a race to see who would learn it faster, you know?
Hey, that's fair. I mean, that's absolutely like putting it into the hands of your kind of everyday man. That's a huge thing.
Yeah, dude. So that was very cool. So
Fair enough.
so yeah, this story, it's very like dystopian. It's exploring ex-soldiers dealing in an adventure with PTSD. Like I don't know, like when Panama got invaded, and our our army was dissolved by the U.S. That's one of the caveats after the invasion. Like there would be no more army in Panama. A lot of career military men ended up in limbo,
Hmm.
and some of them were my friends. And just seeing that sense of loss behind their eyes, like that stuck with me ever since then. So these two guys are veterans of a war that basically ended up in disaster, and they got blamed because it was just like magic came back into the world. They became magic users not at their own volition because it was like genetic. They got enrolled into armies. The world was destroyed. Nobody knows why, but they said it's their fault. So nobody trusts them, and they're basically cynical, but they're kind-hearted. Like they're not like, oh my god, everybody sucks. It's just like, dude, nobody trusts us, and we don't trust ourselves because not even they know what happened.
Hmm.
And how they get like reconnected with the world is right at the beginning of the story. They have like a construction company. They really don't want to be like heroic or whatever. They're afraid of their powers.
Hmm.
But when adventure calls, then like their good nature expresses itself.
Hell yeah.
But
They're the
they're
heroes.
yeah, but they're really adamant of using their powers or questioning their actions all the time. And I mean, for example, the black guy. I'm not saying anything racial here, but the black guy has 6 kids, so he's really into are we getting paid?
Right.
And the
Now
other
he's got
guy,
kids to feed.
yeah,
Get it?
exactly. And the other guy, it's more like afraid of his powers, and he really has a hard time trusting people. So it's I'm doing like a 4-book arc,
Sweet.
and the first book is it's gonna be 80 pages. I already have 64 with the prologue. It's gonna be 72, and then like the information and whatnot is gonna be like 80 total. And yeah, dude, like I had a lot of fun doing it. That's what I mean. Like even if it does nothing, I'm really proud that I finished it. You know. You hear? Hmm. Hey. We lost. Yeah. We lost.
Is this thing on still? Hello. My. All right. Well, we had some technical difficulties there, everybody. Do apologize. That was the fantastic Pedro Ang, Pedro Saucedo, the animator master, was kind enough to come on and join me. And I appreciate anybody that came by or watched or is going to watch on the replay. And I hope y'all all have a great day.